The sunlight filtering through the dusty blinds of my studio was a harsh reminder of another day spent in creative stagnation. My name is Alex, a young artist who once thrived on the thrill of creating, but now found myself trapped in a cycle of depression and self-doubt. My canvases, once vibrant and alive, stood abandoned in the corners, mocking me with their blank stares. It wasn't always like this. There was a time when my art flowed effortlessly, when I could lose myself for hours in the joy of painting. But gradually, the colors faded from my world. The pressures of trying to make a living as an artist, combined with a relentless inner critic, wore me down. Each failed attempt to capture the visions in my mind deepened my despair. I felt like I was sinking into an abyss, unable to climb out. My friends noticed the change before I did. They saw the way I isolated myself, the way my laughter had lost its spark. Sarah, my closest friend, was the first to speak up. "Alex, you need help," she said one evening as we sat in my cluttered living room. "You can't keep doing this to yourself." Her words stung, but they also held a truth I couldn't ignore. I needed help. With a mixture of reluctance and desperation, I reached out to a therapist. Dr. Bennett was a calm, understanding presence, and for the first time in months, I felt a glimmer of hope. Therapy was a slow, painful process. I had to confront the roots of my depression, the fears and insecurities that had been festering inside me for years. Dr. Bennett helped me see that my worth wasn't defined by my art alone, that it was okay to struggle, and that asking for help wasn't a sign of weakness. In our sessions, I began to unravel the tangled threads of my emotions. I learned coping mechanisms for dealing with my negative thoughts and started to rebuild my shattered self-esteem. It wasn't an easy journey, and there were days when the darkness seemed insurmountable, but I persisted. Outside of therapy, Sarah and my other friends became my lifeline. They refused to let me wallow in isolation. They dragged me to coffee shops, movie nights, and weekend hikes. Their unwavering support was a constant reminder that I wasn't alone, that people cared about me even when I couldn't care about myself. Slowly, ever so slowly, I started to rediscover my passion for art. It began with small, tentative steps. I would doodle in my sketchbook during therapy sessions or paint simple patterns on scrap pieces of paper. At first, it felt forced, like I was going through the motions without any real connection to my work. But as time passed, I found moments of genuine joy. One day, Sarah took me to an art exhibit. As we wandered through the gallery, I felt a familiar spark ignite within me. The colors, the textures, the emotions conveyed in each piece, they spoke to me in a way I hadn't felt in a long time. I realized that I missed creating, not for the approval of others, but for myself. That evening, I returned to my studio with a renewed sense of purpose. I stood before a blank canvas, my heart pounding with a mixture of fear and excitement. Taking a deep breath, I picked up a brush and began to paint. The strokes were hesitant at first, but as I lost myself in the process, they grew bolder, more confident. Over the following weeks, my studio came alive with color once more. I experimented with new techniques, pushed myself out of my comfort zone, and allowed myself to make mistakes. Each piece I completed, no matter how imperfect, was a victory over the darkness that had once consumed me. Through therapy, the support of my friends, and my renewed passion for art, I found a way to climb out of the abyss. I learned that recovery isn't a linear path. There are setbacks and struggles, but also moments of profound beauty and growth. My journey is far from over, and there are still days when the shadows threaten to return. But I know now that I have the strength to face them, that I am more than my art, and that it's okay to ask for help. Most importantly, I've learned to be kinder to myself, to embrace my imperfections, and to find joy in the act of creating. As I stand in my studio, surrounded by the vibrant, chaotic expression of my journey, I feel a sense of peace. I am an artist, but I am also so much more. I am resilient, I am hopeful, and I am no longer trapped in the abyss.